Our guest is Clem Seymour of Seabird Island. And Clem, up until recently, you were the chief.
Yeah, from April 22nd was my last day. Yep, and I was chief for about 13 years, like that, and then council for 14.
Have you been there since you were a little boy?
I lived in the area pretty well all my life. I moved away to work for a little while, but then I come back home because they wanted me to come home to work at home.
What kind of work did you go away for?
Well, I was logging for a while, and I did some plumbing and heating pretty well. Like, I worked for Agassiz in Mount Champ Plumbing and Heating in Agassiz for quite a few years. Yep, and sit down like it. So I more or less watched all the different changes in Seabird, like out in Agassiz, like it, because I lived in the area all my life.
Have you got any stories you could tell us about events, certain things that happened in your life that you could pass on?
Well, sitting down like that, as a young boy, I enjoyed going to the fall fair, like that, and sitting down like that, and I watched all the different changes over the years. Then I watched slow growth of Agassiz, like that, and I knew the changes were coming. Yep, and so like more or less, I watched like that and sit down like that. More or less, I enjoyed the quiet life around here. Like more or less because I grew up here.
Seabird Island is such a beautiful location, eh?
That's right. They're like that and sitting down. Do you know how Seabird got its name?
No.
Sit down like that. There's a paddle wheel like that got hung up on the banks of Seabird like that way back in the late 1800s. So like that, people used to go by and just start calling it Seabird Island because of this paddle wheel that got stuck. It used to deliver supplies for the gold miners up to Yale.
Are there any of those paddle wheelers still around that have been preserved?
Not that I know of, like getting sit down. I have that last one I heard about was probably about maybe 25 years ago, like getting sit down. I went up to the Harrison Lake area. And it was just coming through, like getting some tourist people, like they wanted to start tours, but it never did pan out.
I assume that the paddle wheeler, would they go up as far as Port Douglas?
I believe it went up that far that way, but before that all opened up, there's a paddle wheel that used to stop over there just off the Seabird. It used to be called the Mariah and deliver supplies up to the Harrison Lake area. That's where the Mariah slough got its name from.